Welcome to this video. In today's video, we're going to be talking about how VAT works for Amazon sellers and more importantly, what you need to do before you go VAT registered. So if you're about to hit the threshold of 85,000 you sell on Amazon, watch this video. Right, so let's talk all things VAT. This is what you need to do. So as mentioned at the start of the video, I'm going to go through step by step how VAT works for Amazon sellers, what you need to know, and then I'm going to talk about what steps you need to do before you actually go VAT registered. This is a fully comprehensive video, everything you need, so stop scrolling, go get a cup of tea and watch this video through to the end. I haven't actually seen another video going through step by step all of this stuff, including what you actually need to do in the build up. So yeah, I think this will be really valuable, and I wish that I had this when I went VAT registered because it can be extremely overwhelming. Before we dive in, quick shout out to Awesome for sponsoring this video. Awesome has been my accountant for over a year and a half now. They actually helped me transition to VAT registered, and yeah, I use them on a monthly basis for all my bookkeeping and accounting and and my VAT returns and everything like that. So if you want to check them out, there's £100 off link below. Save it for when you need it, or reach out to them to help you go VAT registered and things like that. They also set up limited companies for about £12 professionally for you as well, and that link's below as well. But let's dive into the video. VAT is value added tax, and this is a 20% rate that is added onto the majority of products sold on Amazon. Now there is some products that fall under a 0% rated scheme, and what that means is these are essential items. They are classed as essential items, things like plain biscuits, things like tea, okay, things like baby clothes and stuff like that. A lot of this stuff is deemed as 0%, okay, but most stuff on Amazon is going to be 20%, and that means that the customer, not you, the customer has to pay that 20% on Amazon when they buy these products from you. Here's a quick example for you. Let's say that we're selling headphones on Amazon for £12, okay? Well, £2 of that is actually VAT that the customer's going to have to pay. We don't get that, okay? That's already deducted, that VAT, which means that what we're actually selling our product for is £10. So you have to take this into account when you go VAT registered. So that difference on the end, that 20%, say it's £10 and the 20% is the £2, we still have to collect that ourselves and then hand it to the government on our VAT return every quarter or every month, depending on when you're going to decide to do it. We do ours every quarter, and we have to pay that VAT to the taxman. We have to collect it. Essentially, it's a free service we're doing to the government. However, it's not all doom and gloom, because I'm going to talk about later how we actually can claim back VAT on products that we buy as well. And make sure you know, this is for VAT registered sellers only. If you're not VAT registered, you would keep the whole £12 minus Amazon fees, etc. Let's move into the next part. When do you need to be VAT registered? So here's the thing, there's an £85,000 threshold. Those that have got a business in the UK, a limited company in the UK, in a 12-month rolling period, if you sell more than 85,000 on Amazon, and this is the thing, not money into your bank account, okay? This is what an old accountant, which I didn't have an Amazon specialist accountant, which is why it's important to have one like Awesome. That when I didn't have an Amazon specialist accountant, they advised me that I didn't have to go VAT registered until £85,000 went through my bank account in a 12-month rolling period, which was the wrong advice. The truth is, if you've done 85,000 or more in sales on Amazon in 12 months, you have to register for VAT. Just as a quick side note, this is for people that are just, as I mentioned, in the UK with a limited company, okay? This is different if you're going to be selling in Germany, for example, or selling in America, for example. If you set up there, you're likely going to have to go VAT register from the start in those countries. But we're talking about the UK in this video. But at this point, you might be thinking it's a little bit doom and gloom, but it's not, okay? Now, let me explain from start to finish the difference between non-VAT registered and VAT registered sellers. So, at the moment where you probably are right now, if you're non-VAT registered, then that means that you don't have to charge VAT on your products. Okay, that's great, cool. But here's the thing. You do still have to pay VAT on the products that you're buying from your wholesalers, or if you're doing online arbitrage from your retail stores, for example, or if you're doing private label, when you're importing it, whatever, you still have to pay the VAT on that. You may not be aware of this, but you're paying VAT if you look at the breakdown in your invoices in most cases. Also things like services, accountants, for example, software, you're going to be paying VAT on that, okay, when you're not VAT registered, and you can't claim it back. You'll also be paying VAT on things like Amazon fees and stuff as well. But here's the news for the VAT registered sellers. So yes, now when you become VAT registered, you're going to have to either increase your prices or whatever, because you're going to be VAT registered, which means you're going to have to find the extra 20% that you need to give to the government. So yes, you have to charge your customers 20% VAT, which is going to eat into your margins. That's only for 20% items. We are not talking about the essential items. They are 0% rated, okay? For the 20% items, you are now going to have to charge 20%. However, this now means that you can claim back the VAT on the things like the services, the software, the stock, everything that you use to run your business that has VAT. You can now claim that back, and you can offset that against the amount that you pay the government. So let's say, for example, that you've sold £1,000, okay, on Amazon. You've got 20%, okay, in layman's terms, you've got 20%, so you own £200 to the government. If you bought £5,000 worth of stock in the month just before you go VAT registered at a 20% rate, then you actually get paid £800 from the government because of the difference you're claiming back there. I hope that makes sense. Now, obviously, there's going to be other things, and I'm not saying that's necessarily how it's going to work, because in most cases it isn't, but that gives you an example. You can offset the stuff that you can claim back on the VAT as much as the stuff that you sell. And you're also not going to have to pay VAT on Amazon fees, Amazon advertising, and things like that. So here's the thing. Here's what's going to happen now. Once you go over that 85,000 threshold, once you register for VAT, you are most likely going to have an accountant, okay? Now, the accountant that you use, as I say, make sure it's an Amazon specialist, okay? The accountant that you use is then going to be filing on, in most cases, now this is up to you, whether you file your VAT returns every month or every 3 months. In most cases, let's go with 3 months. Most people do it every 3 months, okay? That means that you're going to have to prepare, your accountant, my accountant does this, is going to prepare your VAT claim back, your VAT submission, your VAT return every 3 months. So you're going to have to give them some information of what to do that. You're going to need to make sure they've got all the required information. Every single receipt that you've had that's got VAT on it needs to be given to your accountant, okay? I've got a VA that does this whole process for me. In the early days, you're going to have to do it yourself like I did. So basically, it's time to get organized. You need to start making folders right now, and definitely look at VAT receipts that you've had. Definitely start getting VAT receipts for the last month at least. Now, I'm not a tax advisor, so I'm not going to start giving you tax advice. But as far as I remember, and what I know is that at least a month or 2 months before you go VAT registered, you're going to need to be collecting all them VAT receipts now so that they can use them to offset against your first VAT return. So what I would do right now, if I was about to go VAT registered or coming up to the threshold, is start collecting your VAT receipts now. Get organized in your monthly folders, and every time you buy something, whatever, or get your VAs to do it, just drag that receipt, chase the retailer, chase the wholesaler, chase the private label supplier for that VAT receipt, and make sure that you've got all your VAT receipts. This is a very, very high administration type task that takes my VA quite a long time, because we sell tens and tens of thousands per month on Amazon. Depending on what level you are, it's probably not going to be as intensive at the start, but in the future I would advise you to get an admin VA to do this stuff for you. But that's what you need to do. You need to start collecting them, organising yourself in a Google Drive in a monthly basis, get all them VAT receipts organised for everything that has VAT in it. Now, depending on whether you use Awesome or not, I can only speak for Awesome because they're the VAT specialist, the Amazon account specialist that I use, sorry. They have a software where whenever we get a VAT receipt, we just ping it to them, okay? We upload it on the software or we send it to their email. My VA does this, collects them throughout the week and sends it to them. But at the start, okay, before you get an accountant specialist, whether it's them or someone else, then you're gonna have to start collecting them yourself just to get ahead of the game. Make sure you're organized. On a monthly basis, when you do have an accountant, it's going to be a simple case of either putting it in the folders, uploading it to their software, or sending it to them on email. At the end of that 3 months, just before they're about to file your return, probably about a month before, they're going to reach out to you and say that we're working on your VAT return, and there's probably going to be some missing VAT invoices unless you're 100% top on it, and you're going to have to start chasing them. So it can be a little bit like sort of chaotic in a way, depending on how organized you are, but there's always a few missing VAT receipts, so it can be quite intensive to go around and chase them. That's the majority of how it works, guys. It's a case of collecting all the VAT that you are owed so that they can offset that against the VAT that you need to pay, okay? And at the when they submit your VAT return, as I say, you're either going to get paid VAT, or in most cases, you're going to have to pay VAT if you're selling a lot of 20% items that are VAT. So my advice right now would be to contact an accountant. As I say, I've got my recommendation below with the discount code. I would say contact an accountant if you're coming up to the VAT threshold. They will help you do it. You need to ideally have an accountant to use as you're going over the VAT threshold. It makes it just a lot easier. They're going to help you, tell you what to do, etc., etc. It makes it less overwhelming. But that's what you want to do. Make sure that once you've got your accountant, you know exactly what you're doing, and it's just going to be a case of chasing the VAT receipts. That's the majority of this game, guys. It's not that confusing. Couple more things to know, okay? As I said the top tips there was that the first top tip was to make sure that it's the for 85,000 in sales, not going through your bank account. And on top of that, another top tip is to make sure that your VAT codes are correct in Amazon. So within your Amazon Seller Central, whether you're doing arbitrage, whether you're doing your own private label products, whatever you're doing, there's going to be a section which has the VAT code, okay, the tax code, the tax ID on the listing. When you do edit listing, you're going to need to edit all them. You're going to need to check all them to make sure that they are attributed to the correct tax code. Because there's some tax codes, there's some products, as we say, plain biscuits and brownies and tea and stuff like that, in certain cases that don't have VAT paid on them. But if the tax code has a 20% tax code in it, then Amazon is actually going to be charging you VAT on that. And then when your accountants look at your reports, they're going to submit VAT charged on that when actually you should not be paying VAT on that. Okay, because they're going to be downloading these files. This isn't up to an accountant to sort this out. This is up to you to know this. Okay, so you need to check all of your tax codes. This is a major tip, and make sure that if it's a 0% rated item, it's got the correct 0% rated code. If it's a 20% item, you need to make sure it has the correct code so that you're not essentially misleading the government, you know, unknowingly. So guys, that's VAT. I hope that's helped. Let me know in the comments below and I'll do my best to help you. As I say, I'm not a tax specialist. As I say, if you want to use Awesome, get the discount code below. They also do free calls, free advice and stuff like that. I've been using them for 1.5 years. Make sure you like, follow and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.